Nebraska's first true road test, favorite spot of 2025. Can the Blackshirts travel, or does a feisty Maryland punch back? I'm your host, Nathan Johnston, alongside my co-host, Brad Hopkins. It's time to break the huddle. Brad, 5 rapid-fire questions. Decide it. Let's do it. What's the real game script? Nebraska wants to control the tempo. They want screens. They want quick game to protect Dylan Raiola, and they're going to lean on Emmett Johnson in the red zone. And then on the other side, Maryland, they want rhythm throws from the freshman, Malik Washington. Motion crossers, 2-3 deep shots per half. This guy can sling it. He can run it. This is a very interesting matchup in the Big Ten. My question to you, first off, Brad, is if one team forces its script for 30-plus minutes, which is more repeatable on the road?
I think it's Nebraska. Emmett Johnson has gotten off to a tremendous start this year. Almost, closing in on 500 yards for the year. He's got 7 touchdowns. They're going to feed him. And this is no disrespect to Dylan Raiola. I personally would love to get the Nebraska fans' thoughts in the comments section on this video. Would love to get your guys' thoughts on how he's played.
Yeah,
I think he has not lived up to the billing. And Nate, I saw some interesting stuff that they think, and I agree with this, that he's going to be a better pro player than he is college player. And I completely agree with that. I think he's been good. 12 touchdowns, 2 picks on the year. I just don't think he's elevated and played at that elite level like everyone thought he would come out of high school. I think with this rebuilt Nebraska offense and everything, I think they're going to, you said they're going to run the ball. They're going to be physical. They're going to bring tight ends in there. Maryland really, really impressed me. They just about took it to Washington. I still think this is a Maryland team that's growing. I still think they're going to make some mistakes, but this is going to be a really interesting game on Saturday. A Maryland team that I'm very surprised they're 4-1. But once again, I said it, when we previewed Washington, Mike Locksley has really turned them around. Give him credit.
Yeah, Mike Locksley was on the hot seat very brief time ago. I mean, this is a team, like you said, who has completely turned the narrative around. Maryland was a joke just a year or two ago. And I'm not saying that they're a playoff contender or anything like that. But to your point, I mean, they bring in this freshman quarterback in Washington, and man, he has just lit it up. He's not afraid to take shots down the field. He's not afraid to make the big plays. And Maryland needs a type of game player like that.
And also to your point, I remember reading an article in July, maybe even the first part of August, right when camp was starting. And Mike Locksley admitted that he lost that locker room 3 games in.
Yeah, he did.
So give him credit. They're 4-1. He's turned it around. Give him credit. I think he's realized in this new wave of portal and NIL that you have to do things different, and give him credit. He's adapted and he's got this team back on track.
Yeah, and to respond to your question about Dylan Raiola to the Nebraska fans, and I want to hear their comments too in the comment section below. I've been very disappointed with his progression. I mean, you look at a team that's 4-1. Yes, they're on the right track with Matt Rhule, far better than they were last year. They come out and with a close win against Cincy to start the year in Kansas City, and they've built on that. Only 1 loss on the year thus far to a decent Michigan team. And now they go on the road in a very tough environment in Maryland. Say what you want. This team can play ball just as good as Nebraska. I'm interested to see what Dylan Raiola does in this game. This is a tested game for Dylan Raiola because you're at that half point of the season, so you're going to see what you really have moving forward. I think there's always room for progress. I think he can still continue to make progress in his sophomore year here for the Cornhuskers, but through the first 6 weeks of the season, I've been disappointed, to say the least. That's just my personal opinion.
No, I definitely think it's a mixed bag. And look, I mean, 12 touchdowns, 2 picks. It's
good.
That's solid. But I'm with you. I mean, I was.
Maybe it's a case of media overhype.
I was maybe expecting just for him to really, really come out and play like the 5-star kid.
Yeah.
He is, and I will say, I'm also giving grace. I realize, hey, he is still a young guy. He's as you mentioned, he's about 18, 19 starts in his career, somewhere along there. So still developing, still progressing. Nate, I do think one thing, Dana Holgerson is his OC quarterback coach. That gives me hope that this guy is going to, I think, turn up. I think he's been good. Nebraska fans want to see him go to great, to truly be that game changer, not just the game manager. And that's going to be, I think, telling because, and not to jump too far ahead, but Nate, if Nebraska, with the way the schedule sets up, they've got, USC left and they've got Penn State left. If Dylan Raiola ups his game, could be talking about a playoff, a team that's in the hunt. I'm not saying they're going to make it, but I think a team that could be in the hunt if he takes his game up a level.
Well, let's say they get this game a win on Saturday and they continue and they split the Penn State USC, and you're looking at what, a 9-3 season?
I mean, could be 10-2.
10-2. But what I'm saying is, like, even at a 9-3 season, let's say you missed the playoffs, you've got to feel really good as a Cornhusker fan heading into Dylan's
huge
junior year.
Rhule and everything. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
I think if you told Nebraska fans to start the season, hey, you're going to go 9-3 and make a good bowl game, I think you're taking it every day of the week. So that's my take on it.
That's a great point.
Anything better, great, right? Like, that's the cherry on top. Right. But I still think this team has the capability to win 8-9 games and really get rolling under Matt Rhule. Now, the second question in this matchup, where does the matchup tilt? Nebraska passing defense versus the Terps wide receivers. Terps have got some electric playmakers on the outside for this Maryland offense. You look at Nebraska's edge, top tier coverage and disguises. They aim to cap explosive plays, less than 2 completions allowed above 20 plus yards this year. And then you look at Maryland's edge, length plus speed at the wide receiver position. They stress the linebackers in conflict on crossers and RPO glance. You're going to have to look out for a quarterback like Washington. You cannot play man coverage against this team and not expect to have to put a spy on him or give up a good 10, 15 yards and a slide. This is going to be an interesting matchup to watch. The sideline stat to track, Brad: Maryland early down pass success. First and second down EPA. If it's positive, Nebraska is in for a long afternoon. So my question to you, Brad, would you shade help to the field side or maybe play more robber to jump crossers? I know that's a very specific question, but how do you line up against this Terps offense if you're Nebraska?
I think one thing you've got to do, especially with a guy like this, is you can't get sold on playing one type of coverage against him. You're going to have to mix up your looks. You're going to have to bring some simulated pressures. I also think that it's going to be key to run stunts and twists against him. Nate, one thing that I really, really like about this Nebraska defense, I love that front seven. I love that front four. A guy that I think is slowly starting to come on is former 5-star Missouri transfer Williams Nawari. You can just see the light bulb is starting to turn on for him. If he gets going, watch out for this Nebraska front four, because this is a guy that you could put him on the edge and just let him go to work one-on-one against a tackle. So, look, Nebraska's got some other dudes. I think about Leinhardt, Davis, Judy, Deshaun McCullough is going to have he's Nebraska's leading sack guy right now. I love this Nebraska front seven. They really, really controlled things last Saturday against Michigan State. They did a good job against Michigan. Malik Washington has got to make some quick decisions. He's got to diagnose where pressure is coming from. He's got to quickly diagnose what coverages Nebraska is going to throw at him.
Yeah, the two guys that I want to look out for are the two safeties for Nebraska, because I think that's going to be the key to victory for them, right? We saw that come into play versus Cincinnati late in the game. They threw one down the field, and what happens? They get an interception. I think that's going to be the same narrative in this game. You look at a guy like Singleton at the free safety position. He's a guy to watch for. And then Guthrie, I think it's how you pronounce it. Guthrie, excuse me. And then Guthrie at the strong safety position. These corners are going to need help against these Maryland wide receivers. And those are the two guys that I'm watching for in this matchup. If Nebraska wins on Saturday, it's because of the two safeties lining up in the secondary for Nebraska. My next question is, who wins situational football? Money downs, Nebraska must be plus 10% on third down rate versus season average. Maryland needs red zone touchdowns, not field goals. They've got to finish drives because this Nebraska team, as maybe not electric as they've seemed, they can still make you pay very quickly with this offense to offset Nebraska's field position edge, like I mentioned. Hidden yardage, penalties, and special teams, no short fields off a kick return bust. I mean, these are things that are fundamental football, but in tight situations like this, they really come into play and they really make the difference between, okay, does this team win by field goal with a walk-off field goal, or are we able to stop them? They got to throw up a Hail Mary, we get the interception. My question to you, Brad, is if one metric tells the story on Saturday, third down, red zone, or turnovers, which one are you circling?
I think for me, it's third downs. And I point to a guy like Malik Washington, he's been great this year. But Nate, when I look at these two quarterbacks, Washington versus Rhule on third down, I think where it could be a difference maker, and why Nebraska's got to be disciplined when they're bringing pressure against him, is he's got an ability to run. Dylan Raiola is not going to kill you in the running game. Washington can. You've got to be disciplined. You can't get too far upfield, or he can absolutely burn you. Nate, we've seen it when teams struggle to get off the field in third down. Obviously, it wears down a defense, but it just gives an offense more and more confidence to go out and execute. And really, I think it opens up the playbook so much more. I mean, we saw Georgia's struggles just unbelievably with Alabama a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Alabama started the game 9 for 9, 10, some crazy stat like that on third down. And once again, a guy like Malik Washington, with his ability to run and break the pocket, Nebraska's got to stay disciplined.
Yeah, let's talk about the turnover battle equals the verdict for this game, in my opinion. Nebraska's path, right? Pressure the freshmen into one late mistake. We talk about that all the time. Who's going to be the team that makes the late mistake? Whether it's penalty, turnover, miscue on the offensive line that gets your guy blown up in the backfield. Which team will it be? Protect the ball on the road for Nebraska. They've got to hold on to the ball. No lousy turnovers can be allowed in this one. And then you look at Maryland. Jump a quick game throw. They've got to get something quick going, right? Create a sack fumble on a long developing shot. It's something that's going to get that energy going in that stadium for those fans. They need a turnover to play. They need something that's going to get that crowd going. My question to you, Brad, is how do you see this one playing out in the turnover margin?
I think because of Nebraska's, I think because this defense, and I think Malik Washington is a freshman, I think Nebraska's going to win the turnover battle. I think late Nebraska will force some turnovers from him. Whether that's an interception, whether that's a strip sack. I think it's, once again, this Nebraska front has just really, really impressed me. Matt Rhule has built that defensive front seven to just take over the game, and I think that's where the difference is.
Yeah. Nebraska at Maryland entering this game. Nebraska minus 6.5 at SECU Stadium on the road in College Park, Maryland. Brad, I'll turn it over to you. Final prediction, who comes out with the win on the Big Ten Network, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time?
I'm going to take the Cornhuskers in this one, Nate. I think that it's not going to be super high scoring. I don't think it's going to be, 14-10 kind of game. I think both teams are going to turn the ball over at least once. I just think Maryland is going to have a couple turnovers. Something else that stood out to me, Nebraska was able to block a Michigan State punt last Saturday. I think special teams come to play. I think Nebraska wins the special teams battle, and they're able to steal some yardage, get some points, and give me the Huskers to advance to 5-1 on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short and sweet as well. I love what Malik Washington is doing for the Maryland Terps. but I got to give the edge to Nebraska's defense. I mean, this is a team where they are building on something special this year. And there's certain games, certain teams where you just have to ride with them until you can't anymore. And I just find it hard to believe that Nebraska is going to let this one slip through their fingers. Contrary to years previous, this is a team who has shown they can finish games late and come out on top with the win, more importantly. And I think the same thing happens here. Give me Nebraska to win 27-20. I think they cover the spread in a late one. The defense travels.
Yeah.
Freshman quarterback mistakes show late for me. I think it's going to be a great game. Give me the Nebraska Cornhuskers late in this one. Drop your exact score predictions down below. Let us know what you think about this Big Ten matchup. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 1,000 subs. We really appreciate the support. And we'll see you next week. It's time to break the huddle.